This is the pre-show. I'm Jay Skinner, the Buyers and Sellers Show, and this is a wrap-up from the trade show edition. The question is did you go to the trade show, or are you going? And how did you do on the 9 points I taught on the last session? We're going to go through those, the experience in Vegas, how it went, and I'm thankful that you're here. Let's have some fun. Well, I'm going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. Kansas City, oh, going to Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little trade shows, and I'm going to go to me one. Oh! I'm Jay Skinner. This is the Buyers and Sellers Show. I got people from all over the world here. Thank you. We start at 10:35, and I always like to play a song. Here we go. Welcome. And we're live. I want to say hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. This is fantastic. I'm Jay Skinner. This is the Buyers and Sellers Show. And this edition is about trade shows, but very specifically, what you may have seen a couple days ago when I did a live from the PAC Expo Show in Las Vegas with thousands and thousands of people in 3 halls. What a fantastic show. And one of the things is, and is that I did a previous teaching that aired last Friday, and it was about the 9 points of making a great trade show and doing super stuff. And it was practical things about when your feet hit the ground till you come home. And so right now it's like chance to hold me accountable. Do I practice what I preach? Do I do what I say other people should do? So as I look here, I see some people come along, and it's like, oh, going to Kansas City. Hey, Terrell, Queso Blanco, got Kansas City, great trade shows and ribs, you bet. I want to encourage everyone, and I'm going to just type in here so it might pop up on your comments, a website. My websites, I got several, but most of all, I just want you to see where to comment so that you can join in. And I encourage you, as thoughts come to your mind and things, or you come in, just say, hey, hello from, wherever you're from. I love to see you because you are a very, very important part of this broadcast. So there you go. Hopefully you'll see something pop up in the comments on the platform that you're on. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn Live. So let's get on to it. And we're going to do some fun stuff here and actually combine some videos and things that go on. You can see here that, man, the view from my little hotel room was fantastic. And I went there to do business, but how cool is it to get out there on the road? You guys have done it before, I'm sure, and you know how wonderful it is to go on the road. And it's a wrap. Another great trade show in America in the history books. It's 20 minutes after 3. They're tearing down now. Most of the exhibitors stayed to the very end. Some of them that probably aren't familiar enough about how to get the most out of a trade show tore down early. And next time they won't. But in the meantime, America is alive and well, and business is happening again like it's supposed to. And I need to encourage you to get out there and make it happen. Continue to live and do the American dream that we're all so thankful for. Thanks for showing up today. Bye now. And it's right. There we go. Now, see you got there. Hello, Lana. Hope the day's going fantastic. It is. And you're making it special too. Thanks for coming. So everybody, let's get right into a review of the things that we talk about doing when we're doing a trade show. It's like how to light it up. There's steps for both buyers and sellers here. If you're going to the show as someone looking for products and new ideas and that sort of thing, and you're walking the aisles as a buyer, cool, there's things to do there. And as a seller, and I'll tell you what, a lot of times we're both buyers and sellers. Let's see what we got here. The trade show starts when you get on the plane, both ways. I got to tell you that I got on the plane in Indianapolis, looked across the aisle, saw a fellow looking at some brochures that had to do with the material handling business and that sort of thing. I said, "Are you going to the PAC Expo?" It's like, oh my gosh, yes. Well, I will tell you that the people that get up and go make the investment and do things like this, one of the first trade shows since all this pandemic stupid stuff, these are especially the visionaries, the winners, the people determined to do great things, help their customers, and continue like making it happen. And so he got on the plane to go PAC Expo. I did too. And business started right there. 2.5 hours later, I had a client and a relationship and a friend that will probably last the rest of my life. It was fantastic. So it starts on the plane. Now, moving to step one, and what I'm making a point of here is to actually go through the points that were in my previous training. And let's see. Visit the booths of all your friends and vendors. Take time to be friends and show them you value their help and the relationship. Absolutely. And I can tell you that as you walk the show and look at all this stuff, you're going to see a lot of people. And it is like, it's a chance for you to smile, be encouraging, talk about stuff. And I will also say that as a buyer, you have a responsibility too. And if you're wondering about your relationships with your vendors, take a look at how much you put into it. If it's one way where you say, serve me, serve me, serve me to the vendors, they're not nearly as in a position to help you and serve you. But if you throw some wood into the fire to say, here's what I need, let's talk about this and make it a collaborative effort, you'll get far more out of your vendors. And the results of what you do together will be fantastic, way more than maybe you're used to. So let's see, what's this have to say? Let's take a walk through. I mean, this is a grand, awesome show in multiple halls in a world-class city. If you've never been to one like this, I hope this experience is helping you enjoy what it can be like. And the people that showed up here are ones with especially the vision, especially ready to get things going and restart, renew, and rebuild. Can't hear it quite as well there, but people are ready to restart, renew, rebuild. And the folks that you see there in the aisles of that big trade show are winners. And I'm showing some of these videos. Many of you people have been in industrial sales for years, but there's also people that have never been to a world-class trade show. And I want to make sure that you get a chance to see that. It's how fun is it? How fun is it? So let's go. I got more points. Number 2, buyers, find new vendors to fill in the gaps. Ask existing vendors for recommendations who to see. And I'm going to add something else to that. Something extremely valuable to me for this show and my pre-show prep was the online app that they provided from the Pack Expo PMMI organization. And in this app, you could go in there, you log in, and then it has, you can see, maybe you can see this planner, different things. It's exhibitor search, my show planner. Literally can go through, look at the different exhibitors, and then plan who I want to go see and who I don't. And so on the day, which was Wednesday for me, that was my day to visit potential suppliers for me, because I'm both a buyer and a seller in my plastic pallet manufacturing business. I do that, as well as also do the CEO extender work that I do, where I help other companies be more successful and work with the CEO and owners of companies to get projects done with them. So, you know, as I was able to go through this, it sorts by haul, just go right through, check them off as visited. It was wonderful. So take advantage of the technology here to help organize you when you're going through one of these massive shows. Do unto your vendors how you want your customers to do unto you. That's the silver rule here. And remember, Mr. Buyer, that you may be standing in a booth someday with the sales crew from your company. And so treat those vendors and those people in those booths the way you would want to be treated when they come by and talk to you. See if we got some more comments here. Lana, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm glad you're appreciating this. One of the things that I really want people to do is to take this away as a real learning tool. And then I want you to also see that not only am I talking about it, it's not just theoretical, but we're out there doing it. Love it. The trade show world is alive. People buying and selling. This is the last day of the show. There's still plenty of people here. And awesome things are happening at Pack Expo. Today's show, we're going to be talking about wrapping up that trade show. Did you use those 9 points that I was teaching last week in the trade show training? When the show was over at 3 o'clock, did you wish you had another day? What did you do? What were your action items? What about those contacts? Well, if you ask me, it was incredibly awesome. In fact, I know it was here. Oh, there's some friends of mine there. Love those guys. People-centric company. And now here we go. We're going to engage, make new friends. When you're one of the vendors there, it's far more than just being in the booth. But when you're there, heads up, smiles on, and have something to say when the people pass by. And, you know, we've talked about this before. Hello, how are you? Listen, if you're selling life insurance or health insurance, that's probably an applicable question. But most of the time, one of the best greetings ever is, welcome to ABC Company. So glad you came by. Or you take a look at their badge and you say, oh my gosh, I've done business with you guys. Can you stop for a minute? We can talk about what we've done there and what we might be able to do with you. I guarantee you that the people walking the aisles are looking for vendors and potential suppliers that are proactive and interested in their success. You show that and you make that kind of a impression. That's the beginning of a fantastic business relationship. When people stop for that 3 seconds to look at the pictures in your booth, look up. Please look up. Please be looking up. And then say, is this interesting to you? And then shut up. Before you know it, they're sitting in your booth and you guys are talking about the next deal you might be able to do. That's what I call it, inviting, cheerful, and professionally inquisitive. Now, of course, in this pandemic world, a lot of fist bumping. It's cool. be sensitive to what people are, into. That's okay. And for crying out loud, don't grouse about the pandemic, masks, and all that stuff. That's all old news, and every one of us is navigating that according to our own, our faith, our beliefs, our everything. And they didn't come there to talk about that. Quite frankly, if someone wants to spend time on that, you haven't got time. Kind of move it on politely. Hey, let's see. Got some comments here. Let's see some more people. There we go. Hi, Sharon Skinner Hoffmeister. Good to have you. Sharon has a business of her own, and she has been going live every day for hundreds of days. Sharon, what's the number we need to hear? And I know you have a contest at the end of the year with your group and the buyers and sellers group. We're all going to work together to support you and help make great things happen as you do your final live at the end of the year. But let us know. Tell me how many how many days is it in a row, weekends, and everything that you've been going live. I'm so proud of you about that. Okay, here we go, everyone. Let's go to another point. We talked about being sensitive to that. And then number 4, talk to and greet every single person that even comes close to your booth. Have a video with sound to help pull their attention as well. Really, I don't care if you have a 10 by 10 or a 100 by 100 booth. You've got to have something going on that will cause people to pause, take a look and say, is that interesting? And then it won't hurt if you got to have good eyes so you can read their name and company. That doesn't hurt. And then it's time to make that impression. You never get a second chance to make a first impression, and greet them in a way that's professional and interesting that would cause them to maybe want to work with you. Going to that trade show in Las Vegas with thousands of people, multiple halls, it can be daunting. And it's also extremely interesting to see all the different machines. And this is just a little bit of it. But they have robots working and machines that fill bags. And then you go to other areas, you see machines that make things. It's like Disneyland in some ways to people that like mechanical things. Okay, so there's a marketing genius dude, sales, I don't know what he is, but apparently he suggested this idea at this big company that's owned by a company called Promoc. And they own like 40 different companies, and they own all this sea of green type of stuff. But what they did is they came up with a way to put all their companies together, organize it like a bank, have street signs. So when I'm asking the guy, hey, where can I get stuff about flexible packaging? He says, well, just go down Promoc Boulevard here, turn left on 3rd Street, and you'll see it. Unbelievable. Awesome. Smart. Some of you people watching have multinational giant companies that are the size of this Promoc that I just now showed you. And you have creative marketing departments. What you just saw right there was probably one of the most fantastic ways of laying out your booth when you have 40 different brands that your potential clients can really get their arms around it. And then the cool thing is when they walk in there and they're looking for something, any one of the associates or representatives that is there was able to say, well, just go down Promoc Boulevard, turn left on 3rd, there they are. What a fantastic layout. I was so happy to see that, and hopefully that'll give you an idea of what can happen. So don't be sitting on low chairs, working your phones, letting people walk by. Enough said, not even worth discussing further. It's likely there'll be less customer traffic than you hoped, especially in these times. Get over it. It's like the winner showed up. Well, in this case, people were surprised about how many people were at the show. It was huge and really quite fantastic. Well, Sharon, thank you and congratulations. Today is day 723. That is fantastic. And Kevin, just remember what's done in Vegas stays in Vegas. I'll tell you what, Vegas is pretty fantastic place. And with my experience there, it's you can pick and choose what you do and have a marvelous time. And yep, that's what they always say. So it's likely that when you go to the trade shows, there's going to be lots of people, many of whom you don't know. As you know, perhaps on the second day, you might have caught my surprise live from the floor. I'm trying to get people to get excited, get out there, and really, really make it happen in the trade show. So, one thing is, hey, still never hurts to have a paper show guide. I use that to help me get around. But another thing that I did was, because I'm both a buyer and seller, I had worked LinkedIn in almost an extreme fashion. And many of you are here right now knowing that as I was working LinkedIn, I was promoting the show. Well, in case you don't know this, that my goal, if someone said, Jay, you do so many jobs, what is your job? Well, my job, just as long as I can remember, is to get up in the morning and help as many people as I can be successful and get what they want. And I've learned and found, and by the grace of God, been rewarded in that area, that if I help you get what you want and I help others be more successful and I encourage them and teach and provide awesome products and serve them, then when they work at the factory, they don't go home and yell at the wife and kick the cat, because whatever it is I did there, tried to help make their life more wonderful and their customers' lives more wonderful and good things. And then when I'm talking to other people, it's always, how can I help you? What can I do to help you be more successful? So that's my one job. And I would contend that if you would think about that as a life philosophy, you're going to be happy that you did. But network has to go beyond just talking to people and grabbing cards, because you know how that goes. The show's over. So you need to prioritize. You need to have a plan. Make appointments with people. And because the trade show is so big, my suggestion is pick a spot that you can somehow describe easily to people where you are, and make appointments for them to come by and meet you. And you stay in one spot and have them come to you. Now, some folks are in their booths, and for whatever reason, they're unable to come see you. And you'll be able to work it in to go see them and just find out where they are and make that arrangement. Which reminds me about this. Work the original equipment manufacturers, the big companies related to what you do, and always start at the top. If you weren't out there meeting the presidents of these companies, then gee, you're missing an opportunity. Figure out ways to collaborate like informal partners with other vendors to benefit your shared clients. This is very important. Now, we talked about when you get on the plane, it starts. It doesn't stop till you go home. And oh, by the way, when I got on the plane to go home, by coincidence or God's providence, that man who I met going to Vegas from Indianapolis was on the same plane, not sitting right next to me this time, but down the aisle. He hollered, waved. Oh, did I mention that during the show, I met together with him and his management team, and we agreed on some projects to do. And I've got a great client as a result of that. In fact, I told him, I said, when I was on the plane going to Vegas, I said, actually, I think I can just turn around and go home, because this was wonderful. Isn't it nice when things like that work out? But after the show, you do want to go to sponsored events. Keep wearing your name tag. And when you go out to the restaurants in the town, one night, one of my friends who's also a customer, who's also a vendor, who's also a supplier, invited me out to eat, and we went out to Fogo de Chao. And, it's like the salad bar is magnificent. I love the meats. And we had a fantastic a dinner together and talk, and it was awesome. And some of you may also know that sometimes I look like a vegetarian, but uh, that salad bar was unbelievable, and the very beautiful meats that they would serve made it a fantastic dinner. And most of all, we had some conversation where, well, he paid for the dinner, but he got his money's worth. That's something I want you to remember too. When people take you out to dinner and pay for your dinner, make sure when it's all over, they're glad they brought you. I mean, they're not expecting to pay for your consulting or ideas and things, but it's far better to go out and be out there and make sure that you brought some value to that relationship. Oh, looks like some people have commented. Let's see what we got here. There we go. Kevin Fitzgerald gave me an amen. Yes, sir, Kevin. Thank you for coming. This is awesome. I want those of you that are watching, if you're in the live, please don't hesitate to make a comment. How did this show go for you? What was your experience? If you want to type in something cool that happened, I'm very interested. And let's share it. And I will tell you that ordinarily this show is 30 minutes up and down. I'm at the 26-minute mark right now, and we have a few more things to do. And I'm not going to let the time constraint of a few minutes stop us from getting through all the points. This, combined with the trade show training from my previous broadcast, is probably one of the most valuable things that you, as an industrial salesperson, as a manufacturer, as a buyer or seller, could possibly study, because the live vertical trade show is still the best way for people to connect worldwide. Now, do I love virtual? Am I computer savvy? I sure am. I got a screen here, one here, one here, one here. I've been doing computers since they were invented, and I'll challenge anybody there to a computer contest any day. Certainly, I'm not worried about computers. So, good morning, Gregory Sneed. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much for coming. Now, sometimes they have show sponsored events, other times they don't. And we want to encourage the show management company that's quite sensitive about all this pandemic stuff and masks and everything else. Just start it up. Allow the people to choose whether or not they come or they don't come. And when you're out there, don't get drunk. You will potentially say and do stupid stuff, and in the morning you'll be a wreck. I mean, seriously. When you're out there with the people, you came to the show to meet people, to do awesome things, to build your business, to make an impression upon the world, perhaps, that you represent something that can help them be more successful. Well, you're not going to make that impression if you get loaded out there and do stupid stuff. And why don't I just say, enough said, and let me tell you what I did at the show. Now, I played a piano and sing. And so when the show was over, in the lobby, there were lots of people. I was at the Hilton, big red hotel, beautiful. But down in the lobby, they had a piano as a part of the lobby bar. There were always a lot of people, many of which were part of the show. And each night when I came back from the show, I'd go over there, set my briefcase down next to me, which I took 2 of the 3 days that I was there, to the show floor. Third one, I went light, but set the briefcase down, just sat down at the piano, and I just did a few numbers. Well, the funny thing is, the first night, I got up and left, and some man walked up. He says, "Are you done now? Will you do another song?" I looked down and said, "Sure, I'll do another song." So I sat down and started playing. He threw a 20 in a jar. And it's just, thank you very much. And so I have played professionally all over the world. And now I can say, recently I played professionally in Las Vegas. How fun was that? Look at this. Oh my gosh. From the Philippines, Nancy. Thank you very much for watching from the Philippines. That's great. See, Greg Sneed says, a savvy buyer will look to get you drunk to see you reveal your true feelings about them. Pay attention, everyone. Great stuff, Gregory. Thank you. Lana, great advice and instruction. I love trade shows. Think of all the new friends you meet and they meet you. Fun. And that's the truth. I've met a lot of people that have become friends at trade shows over the years. It is really great. Okay. I've said before, if they're telling stories about you at the show, we want to make sure that the story about you is about your storytelling prowess or how well you sang in the band or you played the piano or some other instrument. That's the stories we want. You want to build your reputation, as you know, and this is a practice what I preach type of show today. So not only am I telling and teaching, but you know that I do this, and it's wonderful and proved wonderful for me in my life personally and professionally. But you want to be known for being interesting and have a passion for what you do professionally. And when you do all this, the week goes by fast. Your pocket's full of cards with notes, and you'll be praising the show and thanking the organizers. And I want to tell you, that's huge too. Find the show office, get to know the organizers of the event, thank them for what they're doing. Make sure you tag them when you're doing posts on LinkedIn, and let them know that you're a fan and a supporter. I mean, when they see people supporting their effort, they really appreciate it. Most people have an agenda. Well, I'm going to scratch your back and you scratch mine. The true definition of love, the true definition of working with people, the real agape love for others, is meeting the needs of others without expecting anything in return. And if you can position yourself so that you're doing that, and of course, people understand they got to buy your stuff because the kids need shoes or the grandkids need bikes. That's how you make your money. But you give so much more than what they pay for. They will love you and respect you and want you to be around. And they will also find ways to buy things from you, to keep you around and to bless you just like you're blessing them. So the trade show was great. I want to tell you that in my back pocket, I learned this from a guy that was a mentor of mine, Mike Carrison. And if I'm lucky and Mike's here today, I want to tell you, God bless you and thank you for helping me over the years. And we went through his Endurance America and fantastic training. And he was always available to me for years and years and years. And he was one of the first Go Live guys and did shows from his office. So one of the things he taught me was put some empty 3x5 cards in your back pocket. Got your pen right here. And when that idea hits, pull one out and write it down, put it in your front pocket. Then when you get to the hotel room or your house at night, put it up on your dresser. Don't lose it. This is for those ideas you have in mind and you don't want to forget. You know how that goes. This is for those thoughts. And quite frankly, I'll find myself when I'm talking to someone, pulling out a card, writing down what it is I just told them. And it might be, gee, you need to read The Little Red Book of Selling by Jeffrey Gitomer. It's like, you don't have a revenue problem. You got a don't know how to sell problem. It's like, that's what you need to do. Or someone's struggling with some ideas that Victoria Labalme handles in her book called Risk Forward. I'll write that down. Or I'll write down the name of somebody I know that they should talk to. Or pull out my my cell phone and give them a referral to a potential customer or a potential vendor. Sometimes I'll actually dial the phone and we'll talk right then to someone that I know that might help them. And I'm not like working out a deal to pay me some money. What I'm doing is I'm helping them be successful. And I know that if I help enough other people get what they want, I get what I want. It always comes and becomes, of course, you want to work things out in advance ahead of a contract or a job. And no one's more explicit about that sort of thing than I am when it gets into actually contracting for some sort of a project with a company or a CEO or manufacturing a product. That's good business, and that helps give everyone peace of mind so there's not questions and misunderstandings. But don't be self-seeking, and it will pay off in spades. Oh, we got some more comments here. Lana says, I was amazed of your playing piano. I love Christian songs. Good. I'm glad you do. I am thankful that I get to play lots of different types of songs and play at church and everything else. And I'm glad you enjoy that. And then, oh, shared. Thank you, Nancy. I don't mention this very often, but people, if you think this is great, you feel free to share to your network. And, I certainly appreciate it when all of a sudden I come in contact with a group of people that I never ordinarily would ever get to meet. So that's great. So we're at the trade show. Awesome things are happening. A lot of people never see this site, but this is what it looks like in the back with all the cases and everything for all the displays and all the people that are set up in this giant place. In about an hour, all these forklifts are going to be going crazy, run around providing the empty boxes back to the exhibitors, and contractors will be working to pack everything up so everybody gets to go home. If you've never seen the inside or the back room of a big international trade show, that's kind of an interesting look. So as we're wrapping up now, those of you that want to know how to get in touch with me and visit with me, I'm theplasticpalletguy.com, theceoextender.com, thejayskinner.com. I mean, I'm open. I'd love to meet you. If you got an idea where we could work together on something, or you just have a question, please be sure and connect with me. I really appreciate you. So as we're wrapping this up, one of the things that's kind of a big deal for me is when I travel, and I've done business on every continent except for Antarctica. And if you've got a potential customer for me in Antarctica, please let me know. Having said that, from the very beginning, when I began traveling around the United States and around the world, it was, if all I ever see is the inside of a plane, train, taxi, cab, hotel room, or meeting room, it doesn't matter what country or city you're sitting in, you didn't really see it. And so I want to encourage you to take a couple vacation days when you're out there on the road, visiting someplace that's brand new, or and make sure that you have that opportunity to see some of the sights and get to meet the people and get out there in the culture and walk the streets of Paris or Venice or Rome or London or Las Vegas or New York or wherever your business may take you, so that when you say, I really travel, you can say, I travel and I met the people and good things happen. Every now and then you make a local friend. And what gets really special is they might invite you over for dinner or something. How cool is that, to be in the home of someone that you just met in a foreign country or a different city that you've never been to? That's what makes life worth the living. It's all about the people, isn't it? So one of the fun things I did here at the show was this. Well, someone told me that down here there was some sort of a Tesla electric car loop where you can get on and take a ride. So we're just going to go down here and see what happens. Those of you, when we talk about traveling, if you don't have some fun, it's not worth it. When you travel around the world and you go places, if you don't take an extra day or two to understand just exactly where you are and get a little feel for the culture and the whole place where you are, whatever country you're in, then you didn't really go anywhere. If you're just seeing the insides of planes, trains, automobiles, hotel rooms, and meeting rooms. Do this sort of stuff. You'll have a blast. I want to show you something. Looks like we're going to get in one of these Teslas, and it's just going to take off. And it did They did have a safety driver in there, but it was so fantastic and something special, of course, I've never done before. So the show was great. I made great contacts. I have a list of about 5 different projects to work on, and I met people from all around the world. And I hope if you were at Pack Expo that you had a similar wonderful event as either a buyer or a seller. With that, I think I had a wrap up here I want to play for you. Let's see what I had to say. So I'm shooting from here because we want to talk about restart, renew, rebuild. And this is people here at this trade show. And this is even the last day, about an hour from closing. And there's still people standing in the booths, walking the aisles, working, connecting, doing everything they came here to do. And there's a lot of people that kind of didn't come. Well, I'll tell you, the people that did come are glad they did, because they made it an awesome event. This is what you do for trade shows. It's up to you. And it is up to you. See, hi, Renee Gordon. Very cool video. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like this. Kind of had a dream about how this could happen. We could pull this show together so it would be both interesting and informative and give everyone here some steps. I talked about the 9 steps that I was teaching in the previous show, and I hope that you say, well, Jay does practice what he preaches. If you have any questions, want to talk to me about anything, please get in touch with me. Just go to my website, and you can email me at wjskinner@aol.com. If you like to work electronically, please just go to my website, djskinner.com, or PDT Associates, Product Development Team, and click on the More About You section, fill it out, and I'll get in touch with you. There's also my phone numbers there. And so I'm going to leave you with this. And one of my mentors, friends, and fellows that's really invested a lot in me in this past year in particular is Jeffrey Gittimer, the king of sales. Jeffrey, if you're listening, I love you. I thank you for everything you've done for me. And you've done this for millions of people around the world. He's the author of The Little Red Book of Selling, right there. And I want you people to get in touch with him if you really want the true, practical, usable, doable approach on making sales and building your business. This is for both buyers and sellers. You will be amazed at his teaching. But he says, the time is yours to control if you're prepared. The only way to relax is be prepared. Don't get in scramble mode. So I want to leave you with that. Oh, actually, there's more comments. I love to get the comments. Here we go. Lana Ferguson, great advice and instruction. I love trade shows. Yes, I think we saw that. Thank you. Thought I saw some new ones. There we go. Gregory, super. Glad you like it. Step by step. Glad you like the show. Well, everyone, we've got comments. We've got people from around the world. There'll be many people on this event on the replay. Ordinarily, the Buyers and Sellers Show is 30 minutes up and down. And I want to thank you for coming. 10:35 every Friday. I'm Jay Skinner. Thank you for coming. I'm going to take a sentimental journey. Going to set your heart at ease. I'm going to make a sentimental journey to renew old memories. Now go make a memory. Thanks for coming.